talk about we're behind.
Just a little bit.
Just by a month. Just a month and a bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody cares about this now.
Yeah. Carl went away. Well,
you know what?
Other people are behind.
When you stick with a company for long enough, you accumulate vacation days. Mm-hmm. And I, with my organization, currently get 5 weeks of vacation.
Holy hand grenade.
And my wife is on parental leave.
Yeah.
And will probably never be on parental leave again. So we have decided to take the opportunity to have an extended vacation over the month of August. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. And I regret nothing. It was great.
No, nor should you. I'm in that same boat. I so I don't get 5 weeks. I get 2 weeks. But which I think is more than some companies. I think a lot of companies you just get a week, right?
Most places, I think legally, most places have to give you 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like
some places, I've definitely worked places where I'm pretty sure I only get 7 days or whatever, or 5 days. Anyways, I get 10 days of vacation, and just recently at work, I was like, hey, like, is there any chance? Like, I know you want me to work that day. Is there any chance? That, like, blah blah blah. Like, could I blah blah blah? And I got an email from the owner. And the owner was like, hey, like, no problem. We got you covered that day. Please start, like, you have 10 days of vacation day. It's now end of August. This is the first time you've not worked. So not only will you have that day off, but because the Monday is a holiday, I'm limiting you. You're only, because I kind of work, I can set a lot of my own hours. He's like, you're only allowed to work 24 hours this week. Like, you have to just please take some time off. Go enjoy yourself.
Don't come into work, or I will kick you out of the building.
Yeah, and it's not going to pan out. I have so much work to do this week, which means I'm going to, in order to appease them, I'm actually going to, like, work the hours that I need to, but not claim them, and I'm just going to bank them for next week, and then do less next week and still get paid. So
yeah,
it'll work. It'll all work out.
That's fun. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Movie Men Podcast.
Dubby team.
Well, at one point in time, we were working through the Secret Invasion series, and then Carl left. Yeah, we were just like, F this.
Who was what was that show about?
Yeah.
This is the refresher show.
Mace Windu.
And next week we will finalize the series.
Yeah, it's about Mace Windu.
We're just going to refresh everything that's happened up to this point, right?
So we are we're just gonna hit the ground running here. We are also, if you're listening to this, we are a couple of weeks behind because Carl was away. We're a couple of weeks behind on the Ahsoka series. As promised, we are doing Ahsoka the next couple of weeks. There might be like 2 weeks in a row where we release 2 episodes that week. So in the course of 2 weeks, we might do like 4 episodes of Ahsoka so that we can get caught up. But it is coming. We're going to get back on track. September is the month of Pete and I have barely recorded in August either. We kind of, for the most part, took August off with the podcast.
With the exception of the one you did.
With the exception of the one, who wasn't even either of you. It was Mike. So
guest host.
We're gonna hit the ground running.
You're the only one that didn't do anything or go anywhere.
I know. We're gonna hit the ground running and jump back in, and we're just gonna kick things off. This is episode 5 of Secret Invasion. Are you ready, sir?
Take it away.
All right. So the episode starts out in Fury gets the president to the hospital where the doctors tell him to stay outside. So, remember, there was the whole thing. Our last episode ended with Gravik dying, and the president was wounded, and because it was that whole gunfight that happened out in the street. You remember that?
Yep, I do remember that, yes.
So Fury gets the president to the hospital where the doctors tell him to stay outside. While there, he sees on the news that eyewitnesses spotted Talos helping... Wait, not Gravik. Who's Gravik? Yeah, Gravik. No, Talos. Talos
spotted
died.
Talos.
Gravik's a bad guy. Talos helping to save the president.
Have you watched this recently?
Yeah. He sees on the news that eyewitnesses spotted Talos helping to save the president. I don't know what that word is. A Pyrrhic? A Pyrrhic victory for Talos, who always wanted to show the world how good the Skrulls could be. Despite having killed Talos, Gravik's plans still took a hit. And that leads Pagan questioning his leadership. Gravik lashes out and kills Pagan in front of the other rebel warriors. He then orders Vera's death, we know Vera is also Priscilla, Samuel L. Jackson, Nick's wife. And they hop to it. But it's clear that many of the rebels, including Beto, no longer trust Gravik. That seems like a good thing for us. Gravik then calls Rhodey secretly the Skrull Rava, the female Skrull Rava, pretending to be Rhodey, who's on the way to the hospital. He tells Rava to keep the president alive and inform him that the attack was by the Russians with the help of Skrulls. He also tells Rava to reveal the location of New Skrullos to the president, provoking a U.S. military strike on Russian soil. Rava is shocked by this gambit, which risks all the Skrulls at New Skrullos, but Gravik says that he will use this potential strike as leverage against Fury, and if that fails, then they will all just have to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. So all of a sudden, Gravik's not seeming like the leader for these Skrulls that they all thought he was and were hoping he was.
Yeah, he's essentially just kind of showing his true colors, and that
he just has a personal vendetta against Fury. Yeah. At the hospital, Fury is waiting for Rhodey / Rava, pulling a gun on the Skrull spy. However, Rava reveals that she has leaked the video of Fury killing Maria Hill to the press, which we know was not actually Fury. It was a Skrull pretending to be Fury. And that now makes Fury the most wanted man on the planet, which he already was after the first attack in episode 1, but they're really hammering it home this time. Fury has no choice but to leave the hospital with Rhodey threatening to unleash the entire Secret Service on him if he ever gets near the president again. Checkmate. After the credits, we catch up with Sonia Falsworth in London, where she meets her boss, Director Weatherby. She outs the director as a Skrull and forces him to reveal the location of Rosa Dalton, the scientist who's running Gravik's Super Skrull experiments. Back at New Skrullos, Beto and some of the other warriors approach Gravik. While they're talking, Rava calls Gravik and informs him that the president is out of surgery. As he's talking on the phone, the rebels gang up and Gravik try to kill him, but with his skills and his new powers, Gravik takes them all down. Beto is the last one left, and he publicly executes him as a show of strength. Beto dies, telling Gravik he's nothing but a monster. So, yeah, this is sort of our first real look at, this DNA splicing machine. The Super Skrull machine is working. And Gravik is beefed up, is real beefed up.
He's been juicing. We did get hints of this in the last episode because we've seen him use Groot's arm and the Extremis.
Yeah, but we're seeing more of it now.
We also saw the Extremis in an early episode when his hand got the knife in it.
Yep, that's true.
We know that he's been using the machine.
Fury heads to a safe house in Brixton, where he finds Gaia waiting for him. He gives her a lesson in the history of Brixton and attempts to talk to her about Talos' death, but she stops him. She tells Fury that she ran away from her father because she knew he would lose, but Fury argues that Talos did not lose. He chose the path of struggle. Fury tells Gaia that she cannot let grief paralyze her and reveals that Talos told him she's a Super Skrull now. Gaia reveals that Gravik only has a few DNA samples, but what he's really looking for is something called the Harvest, a name Fury recognizes. Gaia says that she needs to bury her father and gives Fury her keys, telling him to take him to Priscilla. Telling her to take him to Priscilla. The police arrive and Fury has to leave Gaia. Gaia asks him where to, and he says Finland. This was another one of those. This wasn't the best like person-to-person dialogue scene we've had, but it was still good. Like it still was a heartfelt, well-written dialogue.
And kind of like we're running pretty fast here, so I just want to back up real quick.
Do it.
The hospital scene, like right near the beginning before in the intro, like did that hospital seem oddly empty to you?
No. I mean, yes, but no. Not if the president's coming.
But you're still wheeling the president who's been gravely injured in a car accident. And there's only one nurse and one doctor working on him.
Oh, but that's probably a security thing. These are the people who have clearance.
I don't know. Like, well, then where's the rest of this? Then where's the security? Nick Fury's the only one ushering him down the hallway.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's. I don't know.
It just seemed. Who knows? It seemed empty.
Yeah. Well, it's.
And then this scene that we just had, like, isn't this supposed to be like a secret hideout? Like, why is he running just because he saw sirens?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they're after a shoplifter.
He's panicky.
I don't know. I'm being a little nitpicky.
Yeah. No, it's good. Sonya meets Dr. Rosa Dalton and her husband Victor at their private lab. This scene was good. Immediately making it clear that she knows they're Skrulls. With her agents holding them at gunpoint, she questions Rosa, asking her about the machine she built for the Skrulls. After their conversation, Sonya has her agents take the Daltons, burning down their lab. Victor attempts to break free, putting a gun to Rosa's head and threatening to kill her, but Sonya calmly shoots him instead.
So good. Like Olivia Colman in this is definitely one of like the stars of this show. Her character. She's stealing this show.
Every scene she's in.
Even from Nick Fury. Like, I think she steals this show from Nick Fury. This is like what's her character? Sonya Fallsworth. Like, this is the Sonya Fallsworth show. Screw Nick Fury.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. Like she's so funny too. Like, especially like her that first time we saw her do that like interrogation scene.
Yeah, the interrogation. Talking to Nick Fury on the phone about finding the owl.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gaia takes Talos' body to Priscilla's home, where she finds the older Skrull waiting for Gravik's rebels. At first, she thinks Gaia is working for Gravik, but she tells her who she really is, asking for help to bury her father. Back at the hospital, the president is awake, and Rhodey, quote unquote, meets with him, telling him that the Skrulls are working with the Russians and that he's received corroborating evidence from Sonya. Rhodey shows the president the location of New Skrullos and says that they need to destroy it, promising the support of the other NATO powers. The president is hesitant, as the strike on Russia's soil would mean the start of World War III, but Rhodey convinces him to do it, saying that a Skrull invasion would mean the extinction of humanity. Dum dum dum. This is like this episode. I will say this episode really takes. It takes the conflict that's been going on and finally pushes it to its tipping point.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you feel like it was too late though? Like, you think it should have came sooner?
No, not necessarily. There hasn't been a bad episode, right? So I can't say that. I'm
saying in terms of like, if you were to putting this point in time sooner, improve the story.
Maybe, but then you run the risk of having it go on too long. Or you run the risk of like, okay, we've reached the tipping point. Now we've had 3-4 episodes of
I see. Yeah, I suppose.
Climax, you know?
Yeah.
Gravik calls Fury, offering him a deal. He tells the old spy master about the strike and says that he will call the whole thing off if Fury brings him the harvest in person. Fury clearly anticipated this and is already catching a flight on a private jet to Finland. At this point, we get a surprising cameo from Black Widow's Rick Mason.
Yeah.
Which was kind of fun. We're like, oh, okay, some interconnectivity.
Smuggler buddy.
Yeah. After some witty banter, during which we find out that the helicarrier has been mothballed, Mason gives Fury something he'll need on the quote-unquote other side, and they set off. Then we get like a little bit of a funeral here. Outside the Fury residence, Priscilla and Gaia give Talos a funeral in a touching private ceremony. Gaia says that Talos deserved to have processions of mourners, but Priscilla points out that he was never one for pageantry. The funeral requires an offering, which Gaia provides her mother's ring. The young Skrull doesn't know the funeral prayer, but Priscilla recites it instead as Gaia sets fire to her father's pyre. She bids him a final farewell in the Skrull language, saying, "Travel well to your beyond, father." This was touching. Mm-hmm. Even though there was like, and maybe especially because of the tension and drama between Gaia and Talos up until this point, right? They've been estranged from each other. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just so touching.
There have been some touches of connection and relationship there, but yeah, there's something as they're not like they're estranged, but they're not, as this show has shown, like they still contact, there's still some trust, there's still love.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. After the funeral, the two of them go back inside, and Gaia tells Priscilla that the last thing she told her father was that he was a failure. Priscilla comforts her, and they share a chuckle talking about Fury. Gaia asks Priscilla why she stayed in the house despite Gravik wanting to kill her. Priscilla says that she loves the house, talking about how she first got it and how she and Fury built a life together there. Gaia asks her if Fury ever saw Priscilla in her own skin, which offends Priscilla. Priscilla tells her off, then composes herself and says when it comes to facing down her would-be assassins, she would rather do it right there in her own home.
In front of a big glass window.
Yes. And at that very moment, the Skrull strike team Gravik sends attacks, leading Priscilla and Gaia... What?
Hang on. They attack by shooting a green mug.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah. How cliche can you get?
There's a few things here that either amiss or that we can read into.
Well, they're stormtroopers.
Either A, the sharpshooter is a horrible aim. B, he didn't really want to kill anybody and he's got a soft, kind heart. Or C, he thinks Priscilla shapeshifted into that mug.
It's definitely C. It's got to be C. I think that's the only logical.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
But also, they're starting to like how far is the shakiness in Gravik's leadership starting to go at this point?
I mean, the rest of the kill team seems pretty intent on following through with the orders.
Fair.
So anyway, it just seems like a really like she should be dead to rights, and like they're just standing there talking. It's not like she's jumping around doing cardio or something, making really random movements. So it just seems like such a It would have made more sense for them to just crash down through the roof like they do in a few seconds.
Yeah.
Instead of have that shot.
So either way, they arm themselves and seem to hold their own, right?
Yeah.
They fight off this group. They survive. Everything's great.
But a true wife of Nick Fury, she has got a really nice, well-equipped go kit with shotguns and rifles and...
And now this part makes me laugh so hard. In Finland, a Mr. Korhonen arrives at the airport. Outside, it's revealed that it was Fury using shield technology, which we've seen before in Captain America Winter Soldier. He meets Sonya. Yep. He meets Sonya, who's waiting for him, and comments about how S.H.I.E.L.D. spent $1 billion on the technology called Widow's Veil, and still couldn't get it to disguise more than the user's face. Fury says there's a newer version that can do the whole body. It's just not the one he has on him, which is interesting, which is assuredly technology that they've gotten based on analyzing Skrull DNA.
Probably.
Yeah.
That or there's some Stark technology combined into there somehow. Yeah.
And then potentially the best Samuel L. Jackson moment in the entire series so far. They then drive off listening to Audacity by Stormzy. And Nick looks at her and goes, "Really? This is what we're doing?" She's like, "Really?" And it's just like, it just, one more thing that makes her character so great is that she's listening to music that is not what you would, it's not how you'd peg her music taste wise. So good. Back in London, Priscilla drops Gaia off and tells her to be careful. Presumably, we'll find out in the next episode what exactly she needs to be careful with. As Fury and Sonya drive towards the Russian border, he asks her why she gave Rhodey evidence of the Skrull base. She is then quite shocked when he reveals that Rhodey is a Skrull. Asking why Gravik would want to blow up his own people, Fury explains the gambit, illustrating how Gravik plans to start World War III. She then asks him about the harvest. He reveals that during the events of Avengers Endgame, nearly every Avenger and others spilled blood. So after the battle was over, Fury sent a secret team of Skrulls to collect that DNA, led by Gravik.
Yeah.
Led by Gravik. He speculates that probably when Gravik came up with his plan to make Super Skrulls, that's probably when he came up with his plan to make Super Skrulls. In other words, Fury is really the one responsible for the whole mess that's happened. And that's the real reason why he came back. Because he feels guilt, right? He's like, he knows he's made a mess and isn't just going to hide out on some space station and let humanity become extinct.
Yeah, especially if it's his fault.
Mm-hmm.
If he's the one kind of that kickstarted the whole thing.
For sure. Let's talk about this for a second, though. Because this is a big plot point. The idea of the harvest. Right? There's a couple of different things about this that I'm curious about. One is, how viable and realistic is this notion that I mean, I guess you go and you just start collecting samples of every blood you can find everywhere, and then you try to decipher and figure out the who's who later on?
Yeah, that's the part that I don't get. Like, if they're just picking blood up off the ground, how do you know whose is whose?
It was a big battlefield.
If these Skrulls are shapeshifted into like medical workers and they're like patching people up,
sure,
or people just dragging away bodies of the, because some of the things we later find out, I guess this might be a bit of a spoiler for the next episode, but like some of these are like Cull Obsidian, who was part of Thanos' crew, right? Mm-hmm. So they could have easily like swabbed a scar on his body and took it that way. So like, how did you, I guess the how is the question here, which is up for debate.
And also, sure, a lot of people bled, but I mean, did Carol Danvers get much more than a nosebleed?
Yeah.
Like, presumably,
if that, like, did she even get a nosebleed?
Right. So presumably, in order to find
but
DNA samples, it was a big battlefield.
Yeah.
And so presumably, in order to be able to even spot that there's a blood drop, like, we're talking about people hemorrhaging.
Oh my goodness. My theory just went out the window. I just realized. You can't swab the blood of Cull Obsidian's carcass. Because they all got dusted.
They all got dusted.
You can't take Thanos' blood because he got dusted. So you have to get it off the ground.
So maybe,
and like we were saying, how do you decipher whose is whose?
Yeah.
Unless you're swabbing the person's fist who punched them.
Wouldn't you assume that the blood would disappear too? Like, if someone's arm got cut off, I assume during the dusting, the arm's disappearing as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, man. It raises a whole lot of questions, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some continuity questions.
And then the other part is I want to ask about the ethics of this. Now, it's Nick Fury, and we know Nick is the guy that's got a contingency for every contingency.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't surprise me that he would do this. But it is the type of thing that, like, had Steve Rogers caught wind of, this would have been a fight.
Right.
Like, they would not have been okay with this. This is like Civil War conflict level tomfoolery, right? Like,
yeah, and Nick Fury's not above, like, as this show is showing us, he's not above using an entire race to his own ends.
Yeah,
right? Like, there's a lot of kind of the show's kind of showing that, like, Nick Fury's definitely kind of wrote off that the Skrulls are ever going to have a new home.
Yep.
And he's using them to his own ends. Maybe there's an inkling that he's hoping Earth will be a home somehow for them.
Maybe.
But not in a way that they can, obviously not in a way that they can be in their own skin.
No.
Yeah. And he does kind of talk to Sonya about his reasons for this. Like, we can't always depend on the heroes. Like, what if the snap showed us that, you know, like, sometimes the heroes just aren't going to be there or aren't going to be able to save the day, and we need to be able to, like, if I can't stop it, then who can? Like, he's putting a lot of weight on his own shoulders, and this is kind of, and by that, using it as an excuse to take extreme measures.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So I don't know. Some of that I'm in quite a bit of wonderment here. Okay. They arrive at the graveyard when Fury leads Sonya to the grave of Colonel Nicholas J. Fury. Apparently, Fury has a few fake graves around the world, and this is the one where he hid the harvest. A very Nick Fury thing to do. I liked that. That was cool. Yeah. Sonya asks him again, why doesn't he call the Avengers? A question that we have asked. One of the massive inherent problems with a shared cinematic universe. Right? Like, we're trying to prevent World War III here. Where the hell is everybody?
Why aren't you calling in Ant-Man?
Yes.
to do some shit here. Like,
Fury says
Ant-Man and the Wasp would be very helpful.
Yeah. Fury says, and they gave a better explanation to this earlier on in this series. Earlier on in the series, they were like, well, because then they can just assume, like, it's one thing to have them assuming certain personalities, but you don't want them to assume the personality of the Avengers, because that'd be real bad.
To get captured.
Yeah. Fury says that this is personal and that they can't keep depending on superheroes to save the day. I mean, that's why there's heroes. I don't know.
Yeah.
He truly believes that none of them can defend the world he can. He says the only power he has was planted between my ears by a single mother and wrapped around his finger by a woman who's far greater than he could ever hope to be. That's a great line. In a shitty explanation, that's a good line.
Boy loves his mama.
Sonya asks him why he chose to leave the harvest in Finland, and Fury says he and Priscilla honeymooned there, revealing to her that his wife is a Skrull. Fury then retrieves the harvest, and Sonya asks him if he's really going to just hand it over to Gravik. Fury gives a cryptic response, as always, and steps inside a small building close to the graveyard. Inside, he activates some secret boxes, retrieving one of his iconic leather suits, an eye patch, and a gun. He then suits up and sets out to finish this. Now, listen, as stupid as him having all that gear, specifically like the eye patch and the leather coat, hidden in a crypt as like a go bag, I do love the notion that in his planting equipment around the world, Sarah Connor style prepping ways, that Nick Fury fashion is a consideration.
Yeah. It's probably like you could easily make some inferences that this is SHIELD tech in some way too. Like
the jacket is probably got some bulletproof, whatever.
Bulletproof. It might have some little gadgets here and there in the pockets.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it is. But
why one gun and one magazine? You're going to need more bullets than that, probably.
Right?
If you're in a load of crap.
Right? Well, that's episode 5, the second last episode.
Yeah.
Carl,
almost done.
Was this episode a win or a fail for you, and why?
I mean, is all right, I guess. I don't know. It's been a while since we talked about the other episodes, and it's even been 2 weeks since I've seen these, and so I've had some time to sit and remunerate.
Think
that
about
fancy word that
think about
means thinking about.
Yeah.
that I'm mispronouncing. I guess it's a win, but yeah, the more I sit with this show, the more I feel like, and I think I may have said this in a past episode, one of the previous episodes reviewing this show, like this really should have been a like larger, this should have been like the next big bad threat.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it's taken this global threat that in the comics was like massive, and superheroes were being kind of put to sleep or whatever, and Skrulls making themselves look like them and manipulating, kind of being able to use their powers and stuff. And we're like boiling it down into this really small spy thing that they're trying to make seem like it's global because of this whole World War III America VU versus the Russians thing. But it just, yeah, the more I sit with it, it just doesn't feel like the stakes are what they're trying to make them. And it should, and from knowing what the comics did, it feels like it should be bigger, and it's not, just not. But I think it's still a win. From what, in terms of just the show, not trying to kind of put that comic book stuff out of my mind, just the show, I think it's a win. As a Marvel property as a whole, I think it's kind of the show's kind of starting to fail itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
I still enjoyed it. I think it was the weakest episode so far.
Yeah.
Like stuff happened, but it kind of felt like, I don't know. It kind of felt like, hey, we only have one episode after this, and that episode has to be the big crazy, we got to drive this thing home episode. And so this one, in a lot of ways, felt like we have some things to tidy and clean up and take care of and deal with before we can do that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we have to bury Talos, and we have to do this, and we have to make sense of that, and we have to, X, Y, Z. We have to introduce and show you where the harvest is and where it's being kept, and we have to. And so it just felt like, hey, our plan is to go out swinging, and so before we do that, we got some busy work to do. And it felt like a busy. I'm not going to say filler. I don't think it felt like a filler episode, because it still progressed everything.
Yeah, they had to. They definitely took the time in this episode to tie up a few loose ends.
Yes. Yeah. So
because shoot, what's her name? Fury's wife,
Priscilla or
Priscilla. Priscilla has kind of been known to have not been to have turned on Gravik for a little while now, and now finally a kill team's being sent. The death of Gravik being dealt with, which was just last episode, but still it's a loose end, right?
Yeah,
with her and her daughter. So yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not as excited as I was.
No. I hope yeah, I know. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all listed below. We have a Patreon page. As little as $1 a month. You can support the show and get some fun little Patreon rewards in return. And we have merch.
Get your swag on.
Get
that hoodie and
get merched.
Get the grill all grilled up with diamonds and movie man hoodie, because that's what the homies are doing.
You know what I will say about this? You know what I will say about Secret Invasion?
What?
Is that, with the exception of WandaVision and Miss Marvel, Secret Invasion has stayed good longer than the rest. Right? My fears in the beginning of like, it's going to get bad. They're going to wreck it. It's going to get stupid. It has not happened as of episode 5.
Right.
So there's that.